Shalom, Yashala Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Yasharallah. Kol Holoyim La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'asham Harakah Kodash, for blessing our elders with the spirit of truth so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Akwaf that's keeping the faith in the works. Y'all keep at it. This your brother Abaya coming at you with more precepts. It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 1. It says, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not." Right? Because scripture says, "I love those that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me." And those that seek Yahweh before the evil days shall find Yahweh. Right? And Yahweh loves those that seek him before the evil days come. Right? It says, "Nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the cloud return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened." Right? The grinders cease. Why would the grinders cease? Right? It's because something gonna get implemented in this earth, and it got something to do with finances, and it's looking like the daughter of Babylon is moving towards that thing. So the grinding will cease, and then you're gonna start hearing more and more about uprising of the people, like it's spoken of in 2 Ezra chapter 9. Right? And then shall we know that it's the time where Yahweh spoke of him visiting the earth that he made. Right? So let me let a video play and I'll be right back.
Making me angry. Putin announced this week that Russia will begin using the Chinese yuan for international payments instead of the dollar. Saudi Arabia is also in talks with Beijing to do the same thing. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, meanwhile, they're in talks with Iran as well to consider an economic alliance with China and Russia. And they can even be joining the BRIC countries, which is an acronym for these countries here: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These countries all have emerging economies. So what happens if our economy and the U.S. dollar are no longer the world's dominant currency? What happens if these emerging economies move away from the U.S. dollar towards the Chinese yuan?
Well, good morning, Will. It's great to be with you. And it's really hard to overstate exactly how catastrophic the abandonment of the U.S. dollar would be as the world's global reserve currency. Look, since the end of World War II, the dollar has been the safe place to go, and it's been backed up by a couple of things. It originally was backed up by gold, but President Nixon took us off the gold standard, so there's no hard asset backing up the dollar anymore for the last 50 years. But also it's been backed up by the strength and economic power of the United States and the fact that oil has always been traded in dollars. If that were to end, that would mean the end of the U.S. dollar. Look, there is a perfect storm happening right now, Will. The world's reserve currency, being that, having that status has been a real privilege, but we've abused the privilege by wholly reckless monetary and fiscal policies over many years, certainly over the last couple of years, which has really devalued the dollar. On top of that, now you do have this perfect storm of Biden's weakness, his war on American domestic energy production, the Ukraine war, and as you point out, because of all of these things, we've got America's enemies led by China forming a new economic bloc. And all it would take at this point now, because we're at this pivotal moment, Will, is for Saudi Arabia, who has indicated that they're open to this, to say, you know what, we're going to be open to considering other currencies to trade in oil. If that were to happen, there would be a complete implosion of the global economic system, but certainly the American economic system. And if that were to happen, you'd be looking at sky-high inflation, just raging Weimar Republic kind of inflation. If you think inflation is bad now, just wait. But more importantly, we would lose our economic dominance and we would lose our superpower status.
Monica, the world's reserve currency, you said it's a privilege for the United States for the dollar to have been the world's currency. How does that relate to each individual American? How has that changed or impacted or improved our lives throughout the last several decades?
Yeah, I mean, it's given the United States incredible dominance in the world in terms of the economic system and in terms of trade. It's kept prices down. So whether it's energy prices, whether it's your food prices, the entire global economic system is reliant on the safe and secure dollar. But that is no longer true, again, because we've been printing money like crazy and devalued the power of the dollar and the value of the dollar. But on top of it now, again, oil is the critical linchpin of this. If Saudi Arabia decides to join with America's enemies here and start trading oil in different currencies, that is going to undermine the entire global economic system. And here at home, you know what it's going to mean for us? It's going to mean raging inflation, so much worse than anything we have ever experienced, Will. And I'll tell you, they're setting it up so that they can then come to the rescue by introducing central bank digital currencies. If they were to do that, and the United States already has a pilot program, that means the loss of your individual economic freedom, because the government will have total access and control of everything you buy and sell and the ability to turn it off like that.
Ominous warning. I hear you. Saudi Arabia is the tipping point. Oil trading in dollars.
Right. So there it is. Right. And that was a lot to unpack, man. The one thing that made the daughter Babylon powerful was the dollar. And the dollar is not based off of anything. It's based off of debt. But the thing that made the dollar so strong was that the individuals who are the main producers of oil only traded with American dollars. And that relationship between those individuals and the daughter Babylon has, as of late, been rocky. Right? And it's getting worse and worse because, as you heard, they linking up with the BRICS, which are, the daughter Babylons. They're not their allies. I guess you could say they're foes economically and, physically. Right? Because, daughter Babylon been at war with Russia for a minute now, but they don't say they've been at war with Russia. They say Ukraine's been at war with Russia, but who's been providing Ukraine with weapons and funds and everything that they need for a war? The main individuals have been the daughter of Babylon. All right, but they're losing their status, man. This place is going down, right? And it's getting worse and worse and worse until ultimately this place falls. It's just like Rome. Rome fell the same way, right? It got to the point to where Rome couldn't pay their soldiers to fight. So that meant the military dwindled, right? They were spread thin by having different battles and things of such with different, I believe, barbarians, if I'm not mistaken. And ultimately it failed, man. It failed. The people had to pay for it, and the people uprising, it failed, right? So scripture says there's no new thing under the sun. Scripture calls the daughter of Babylon basically Rome, right? The beast whose womb was healed is this place, right? And it's going to get bad, right? So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 8. It says, therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Right? You heard Ms. Lady said they brought it on themselves, basically, by the lifestyle that they've been living and how they've been treating individuals, different nations around the world, thinking that the dollar is just going to be strong forever, thinking that, they got a strong hold on oil and so forth and so on, right? And it's really all because they had a backup plan, and that backup plan is what she spoke of towards the end, which is those CBDCs, the central banking digital currency. That was the whole point of it all. Digital world, new digital world order, right? Verse 9, it says, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. Right? For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. So the Most High finna prove her wrong, the daughter of Babylon, right? Because the daughter of Babylon has been exposed for the fraud that they are, for the wickedness that they, push upon the earth, and the hypocritical views that this place has on the world, right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 6. It says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Right? That's the King James Version. I bring this out often. Right? But the New Living Translation reads like this. And I heard a voice from among the 4 living beings say, a loaf of wheat bread or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay, and don't waste the olive oil and wine. Right? So it's going to get bad out here, man. This is the end of this place. Right? It's the end of the rule of Esau. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And we are seeing the beginning of the kingdom of Jacob, starting with the Most High's people. Right? The kingdom is within us. Right? Let me see. Salat, 1 second. So this is the book of hold up. Let me see. Salat, 1 second. Hold up. All right, Salat. So this is the book of Matthew, chapter 11 and verse 12. It says, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. And it's speaking about us, Yasharallah, man. All right? The kingdom is within us. All right, let me see. Find this other precept right quick. This is the book of Luke, chapter 17 and verse 21. It says, neither shall they say, lo here or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of power is within you. Right? So we're seeing the beginnings of, the world to come, which is Jacob's. And we're seeing the ending of the wicked world, which is Esau's. Right? Esau, Edom. Right, Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. We're seeing the end of that. And it's ending exactly how the word said it would. Right? Exactly how the word said it would. So, only way you're going to be able to avoid this, man, is like I said from the jump. Scripture says, I love those that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. You got to find Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Right? And be obedient to the gospel. It ain't about what you think and how you feel and what you want and what you think is right and what you think is wrong. You ain't got a damn thing to do with it. It got everything to do with thus said Yahweh. So if you can't get in line with that, then you're going to go down. You are basically witnessing your own destruction. You watching what's going on with the daughter of Babylon, you will be involved in that. Right? Revelation 18:4. You will be partakers right, of her destruction. Right? But those that seek the Most High early, meaning before the destruction comes, before the evil day, and you got a strong chance of receiving salvation when all hell breaks loose. All right, so with that, man, Yahweh Shema Shah Ratazah, these precepts in this video were edifying. Kol holoyim la Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Harakakodash. Shalom Yashala.